whole Boogaloo Boys thing. That's
Oh God.
um
Gotta talk about.
yeah
We do
so
not support North Rockwood fascists.
yeah, and I'm gonna just kind of lay the scene out now. I don't reference I don't reference a lot of YouTubers on the show. Like, we could give you a good list. But there was one particular kind of like progressive influencer who recently did a big and
He
uh,
crapped the bed. He
yeah,
crapped the bed.
yeah, they platformed a Boogaloo Boy on their show, and ostensibly what it was is like he found a speech of him in front of the Michigan Capitol, talking about how like right wing militias and Antifa and BLM should all join together because we all hate the elites. Oh boy, and even further, Jeremy Dore went and found the guy and did an interview segment with him on his show. Now, uh, the big problem with this is one platforming fascists, but I wanted to zero in on just because I think a lot of people are asking, well, why is this a bad thing? They say they're pro LGBT, they're anti war, and all this, all that. And let me answer that question with a question. Um, hey, there's this very nice wooden horse right side out of my castle walls. It's a gift. Let's let's just take it at face value and let it in. No.
Okay. Let's give some more. We got to give a little bit more context. So for those who don't understand the Boogaloo Boys is a hodgepodge of right wing militia and fascists. So Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, all all of those fun nutcases that we have talked about a number of times. The one, the people who like to go to BLM protests to say that they're going there to protect property, the Kyle Rittenhouse type of people, you know, the nutcases that thought, hey, we should kidnap Gretchen Whitmore because she wants us to stay in our house.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Boogaloo Boys.
At least three of them were confirmed Boogaloo. Yeah.
And the person that he interviewed was in a picture with three of the people that got arrested trying to kidnap Gretchen Whitmore.
Yes, the guy that Mr. Dorr interviewed, who was all about like let's kumbaya with the left. He's 1 degree of saturation, 1 degree of separation away from the people who wanted to kidnap the governor and do God knows what.
Well,
Uh,
we know what they wanted. They had pipe bombs.
mhm.
They weren't going to hold her there to give her milk and cookies. Like no, they were going to kill Gretchen Whitmore. That's what you do when you have pipe bombs and you have military grade equipment like the way that they were doing. So the Boogaloo Boys' main goal, their group, their hodgepodge group, their main goal is to start a race war. They want a race war and they want to overthrow the government. So, strike one. If you are for Medicare for all, universal free college and tuition, criminal justice reform, the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act. If you were for Brown versus the Board of Education, if you were for things like what was it, the LGBT law that allowed for same sex marriage, that court case. If you're for all those things that the government, you know, uh, uh, ha, put into place that we were able to get because the government finally was getting their act together. Yeah, all those fun things, the women's right to vote, you know, the 13th Amendment of ending slavery, all those wonderful government programs and amendments, all that will be gone under the ideology of the Boogaloo Boys.
Lawrence, I just want to point one thing out real quick. I think it's really important to bring up because if and I've gotten into a couple of debates with people about this, and they're like, "Well, if you listen to what the guy says, he's all for all of those things." And I'm not even going to go into like the whole thing. Like, some of them are neo-Nazis, some of them are like more like anarcho-libertarian or whatever. But I want to emphasize that like these guys, this is part of their strategic playbook. There were leaks from their Discord and communication where they talk about they intentionally try to get onto platforms to spread this message to basically confuse and integrate themselves with the left. They literally talk about doing this. This is part of their strategy. So yes, they will come in front of a camera and talk about how they support Antifa, et cetera, et cetera. They will get onto like a popular YouTube show and say the same, but it's a ruse. It is a
It
tactic
is a lie. It's
lie.
a lie.
Yeah.
It is a lie.
Who would
It's the
expect
same
that to
way.
lie? Oh man.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same type of playbook when we saw the Democratic during the Democratic primary, and Amy Klobuchar calls herself a progressive. No, she's not. She's not like the people that call themselves progressive when they weren't. Like, no, no, stop. You're not.
I want to go even like deeper than that, y'all. Like there's a very long-standing precedent for fascists who talk in these terms, talk about like solidarity and struggle. Part of the Nazis' original political strategy was talking about being against big business, anti-bourgeois, some anti-capitalist rhetoric. There was a whole offshoot called like the Strasserites that kind of married some of the critiques that like you or I would give about capitalism and married it with a lot of like anti-Semitic nonsense. So like the
let
whole
me let me let me give some. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I mean I was just like kind of capping off and finishing that out, but I just wanted to say like this is a very old this is an old trick in the book. It's kind of sad that we've got people with such big platforms who are apparently historically illiterate enough to fall for it. Because like whether it's Jimmy Dore or anybody else who's like trying to stand this all of a sudden, this idea of like working with Boogs, you've been played, and you've been played by a very old trick. Like go ahead, Lawrence.
Like, let me remind everybody. Tucker Carlson also believes that corporations are the problem in our country, but he doesn't want to tax corporations and tax them for using immigrant labor to or for them outsourcing American jobs. He wants to blame the immigrants for coming here getting those jobs. It's not a problem to find someone who agrees that we have a common problem. We on the left have to find people who care about the solutions and strategies that we care about. Having people like Gavin McGinnis or the Proud Boy who's an FBI informant, which is also another story I wanted to talk about. Um, uh having that jack off go on Jimmy Dore's show and talk as if he actually cares about reparations or the separation of church and state, as or if he actually cares about a constitution when the Boogaloo Boys are anti-government. You can't be for Medicare for all and be against the government, because guess who's paying the bill for your insurance? It would be the government. So through our tax dollars, but the government will be handling it. So for me, and this is for someone who actually does like Jimmy Dore. I used to like Jimmy. I thought Jimmy was cool. I used to watch Aggressive Progressives when he was a part of the Young Turks Network. I like the fact that I thought it was funny the way that him and Sam Cedar used to go at it, but he was also one of the reasons why Michael Brooks and Sam Cedar used to dunk on Jimmy, especially when Jimmy had bad takes. And I have no problem criticizing anyone and people who are on the left. So I had no problem with him criticizing the squad. But when you give more leeway and you are kinder to this neo-fascist, to this fascist, than you are to the squad who actually agrees with the policies that you're fighting for, then we gotta call you out because you're tripping. You're hurting the left. You're not helping. Now you're hurting. And I feel like and I feel sad about this. this is like some slippery slope stuff that we gonna see Jimmy Dore end up pulling a Dave Rubin. Like,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I
why?
don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. But at the same time, Jimmy's tripping. On this one, Jimmy lost his mind. We do not on the left. We do not have solidarity, and we do not join with fascists to fight against the system. Also, case in point, in the last point that I wanted to make, you remember the Capitol insurrection?
Mm-hmm.
Guess which side the Boogaloo Boys was on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
guess 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 where? No, I talked about Kyle Rittenhouse. The dude that he brought on thought that Kyle Rittenhouse did an amazing job shooting off his back. Not the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse should have been there in the first place with a gun. That Kyle Rittenhouse did an amazing job shooting people off his back.
Mm-hmm. Um, I think I just want to bring home a couple of points before we close this topic out. And it's like the main reason I want to talk about this is because there is a bouge present in Michigan, and they would love it if you took all the wrong lessons from like this random interview, because they're going around telling people, like, see, we're on this leftist show, we're good guys, look at what we're saying. And I really want to just like no, it's a trick, it's a trap. Like there's I will share an article, and we also shared a really great video. Lawrence, what was the name of that YouTuber that you shared?
The guy shared. Matt. Hold on. His channel is no joke. He does some deep dives. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Okay, but he did a really great
Uh,
video on this where he really investigated all the aspects of the video and the people involved. But I wanted to just bring home, it's like, I don't want people in my community to
Matt
get involved.
Matt Bender. His name's Matt Bender. Binder.
Yeah.
Find him on YouTube. The dude does a lot of really good videos, and he does a lot of deep dives.
Mhm.
So like, nah, bro. Like,
I really just want to bring home, because these people, there are some of them in the region. And it's important, like, if you come across these people, they are not your friends. They will tell you that they are, but like it goes all back to the whole Boogaloo thing, Civil War II electric Boogaloo. They want to use these demonstrations as a chance to accelerate. They're accelerationists. They want to bring about a civil war, and it's pretty clear which side they will be on in that civil war. There's even there was a news article. Apparently, one of the people involved in burning down the Minneapolis police station was a bouge. It kind of backfired on him. Like if they were doing that to start a civil war, actually, I believe burning down that Minneapolis police station had a higher approval rating than either Biden or Trump. So it's kind of
wait, no. But they also used the LA protest to ambush two cops and shoot them. They were using the BLM protest to ambush and kill cops.
Mhm.
Also, they when they say they're going to BLM protests, they're not going to BLM protests to help the protesters. They're there to protect property, just like Kyle Rittenhouse did. These are not our friends. These are not our allies. These are not our comrades. These are wolves in sheep clothing.
And I want to take a quick back to like the night of June 2nd in Kalamazoo. No, I can't. I usually try to avoid like speculation and stuff on the show, but there was a lot of stuff that happened that night that kind of fell inside their MO. There was a rock thrown through the window at City Hall that basically had like the Black Power fist, and it had like this violent message on it that is not just completely disassociated from any like local Black organizers in Kalamazoo. There were reports of like kind of cars full of white boys shouting like Black Lives Matter and giggling as they sped the wrong way on the one ways. There's also still the question of Fascist, which again we still don't know, was that a fascist mystery or Scooby Doo mystery? But just like there is reasons to suspect that these people have been active in our city before, and we should not give them an inch that they're trying to get from platforming themselves. Just a couple other things, and I'm done. I really hate historical revisionism. I've seen some people in lefty circles saying like, well, look at here's a picture of the Black Panthers with the Young Patriots, and they have like a Confederate flag, and they're trying to say like, oh, historically, socialist groups have reached out to fascist groups or whatever. It's like, no, 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 no. It's
No.
the Young Patriots. That was a group of basically white kids who immigrated from the South to Chicago. They were dirt poor. And here's important: they were explicitly anti-racist. They were explicitly anti-racist before they even got invited to hang out with the Panthers. And that thing with the Confederate flag, after that meeting, the Panthers were like, yo, that's wrong. Here's what's wrong about it. And they no longer used it as a symbol. That is, you cannot compare the Boogaloo Boys to that. And
Oh wait, well, also I just want to add to that. Comparing the Boogaloo Boys to the Poor People's Movement, which was a part of the Black Panther movement and things of that nature, uh, is a part of whitewashing. Is a part of you're doing the propaganda of Republicans when they try to say the same thing about MLK being a Republican and or hating or not he would be against the civil rights movement of today. You're literally doing that.
mhm.
You're hurting the cause, folks. Don't do that.
And I want to close by just saying one thing, like big picture. I always try to like kind of broader analysis, and I'm thinking it's like, why did this even happen? Why are we talking about this? And I think it's kind of a response. People are wondering, that question has always floated around the last 4 or 5 years. Like, how do you reach out to Trump voters or Trump people who are also poor? Now, as we've talked before, data pans us out. Most of Trump's supporters are part of like the petite bourgeois, but there are poor, rural Trump supporters. And what I see when these commentators who are trying to reach out to groups like the bougie boys, it's like it almost feels to me like it's like they're trying to take a shortcut. They're trying to say like, okay, who was like a high profile right wing group this year that we could try to like build bridges with now that Trump is gone. And the main problem with that is like the Boogaloo Boys aren't representative of the just casual average person who went to vote for well, not average, but like the poor working person who went to vote for Donald Trump. They are not representative of that. They are on the extreme. They are on the fringe. There's no strategic reason even to break bread with these people. There just isn't none. And here's the thing. If you want to because I get it, it's scary that like 77 million people still voted for this fascist Biff Tannen Goomba, but the solution to that is not to reach your hand out to a group that is explicitly fascist and trying to bring out a civil war or all that stuff. You go and you talk to people who are disaffected, and maybe they looked at that vote as a brick through the window, or just they're not educated on issues. And the thing is like that solution is difficult. It requires a lot of work. You have to go knock on doors and have conversations with people. And maybe like some people think it's easier to just use their platform to invite on like right-wing fascists. But I'm going to tell you like the actual solution, if we're ever going to kind of deprogram our neighbors and stuff like that, you got to go out and talk to them. And I will just highlight real quick, there are programs nationwide that do that. Michigan United does rural deep canvassing. You go out, you talk to these red area voters and talk about the issues. And a lot of times you'll make them think, and you'll have stuff that you agree on. Maybe they view the world a little differently than they did before you knocked on their door. But again, that work requires a lot of time, a lot of people, and there's no shortcut where you can just invite on a bougie boy and think you've got the key to like deprogramming fascists. No,
Yeah,
not how that.
you can't. Yeah, just remember, folks, you can't have solidarity with people when their goal is to destroy the government. Our goal is to get the government to do their job and help the people.
Mm-hmm. Or
Because
Marxist Leninists like me, it's the proletariat takes over the government and then withering of the state.
even if the proletariat was to take over the government, the whole idea was of them. One, first of all, as a hip hop head and as someone who's been a street dancer since '06 and has been teaching hip hop since '06, um, the fact that they named themselves Boogaloo as in a way to procreate a part of my culture, a hip hop, funk and funk culture, black culture, and their goal would then hurt black people. What they have been doing by using BLM protests as a cover to do, crimes like murder police officers. And again, I'm the first. And again, I understand. F the police. We bang that all the time. There's a difference between me wanting to get police to do their job and not to murder innocent black people and us ambushing them and killing them. If you're cool with people who ambush and kill cops, then we have a problem.
Yeah,
There's a difference between
I'm about to abolish the police. I want them to find a different job, or set up a different job for them, or something. But like, yeah,
right. I no like right. We can right. Like and we can have those conversations. There's a difference between I want someone who's unarmed to do traffic stops, or I want someone who's unarmed to do wellness checks than us killing cops. Like there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? There's a level of gangster here that we're not that's not that's not on that level.
All right, Lawrence. Well, I think I'm about tapped out. I didn't have much else to say about that. It really
Yeah.
ground my goat. It's just like, I got to tell people, don't listen to this stuff. Don't.
And also, and no, I also have to say one more thing. If
Yeah.
you're listening to commentators like Jimmy Dore and Jimmy Dore, like if you are listening to right or left commentators, like forget me and Andy right now. If you're listening to commentators that do not actually do the research on their guests before having them, if you're listening to commentators that will give good faith to people who do not agree with their goals, but will do the same and will not challenge them. Will not challenge them. Like I saw the interview that he had with the person. He did not challenge or try to push back on blatant lies against him. He's not doing his job as a journalist to inform you. And that's you do not support people whose job is meant to inform you and they are actively giving you misinformation.
Yeah, I mean, a more cynical reading, like some people could say, like, either he was really dumb and didn't do his homework, or he did this deliberately to generate controversy and clicks and stuff. Which either one is really bad, but like, yeah, that's another important thing too. And if you have any kind of public platform, do your research before you do something bold like that. It was really inexcusable even on that level. It's like, how do you not know who these guys are? If you're a quote unquote progressive or left commentator and you've existed the last year, you should at least have like a passing knowledge of some of these fascist groups. We literally did like a two
No,
and a half hour teaching before the election, so there's no reason Dore with his national platform shouldn't know this stuff.
even that, man, like the fact that when they did do he did show the speech, he showed the speech and he asked his wife and Ron Pacone, who I also think is very funny, um who's the Boogaloo Boys, and they were cracking jokes talking about these dudes are just they're Proud Boys that like to dance, like they're cracking jokes about it. And when Steph said they're a right wing militia that's anti government linked to murders, that was that was on the wiki. like like fam, fam, there are red flags here. Come on, son. Where's Ed Lover when you need him?
Oh,
That's donkey. That is donkey of the day material. That is donkey of the day material.
all right, Lauren, keep on fighting for that revolution solution.